you have a secret admirer. You have someone that recognizes your light. They recognize all of the great attributes about you. They recognize how kind you are as a person, how genuine you are as a person, and that's something that they are attracted to. And even though you may not know exactly who this person is, there are some key signs that could potentially help you figure out who this person is. If you're not used to being the person that is picked for things, or if you just have certain core beliefs about yourself, it could be hard for you to really understand and believe that someone is actually admiring you as a person. But in reality, someone genuinely is admiring you. There are things that are very attractive. There are things about you that are very eye-catching, whether that's from how you treat other people, how you treat animals, how you treat yourself, the talents that you may have, the different, maybe your physical appearance, the energy that you have on the inside of your body, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you're a funny person, but the things that you know that makes you stand out from other people, those are the things that attract other people to you and that draw people in towards you. Like, when you are aware of the kind of person that you are, you'll start to realize and recognize, like, there are many different people that are admiring you. And it's also a matter of you understanding that and believing that for yourself. If you don't have an understanding, or if you are kind of like shocked or in disbelief about the fact that you could have someone that genuinely admires you as a person, that's coming straight from insecurities and core beliefs that you have about yourself, because in reality, you do have someone that's admiring you. What it is that somebody could admire you. For example, say that you're just out and about. You could be in the grocery store and someone's looking your direction, and you might feel someone's eyes on you, so you look in that direction and then that person looks away. Even though you won't think that there's much to that, a lot of times those are the situations where somebody is admiring you, and maybe they're just too shy to approach you. And it can also be vice versa, where you might recognize that this person looks at you, but you overthink the situation and think, nah, somebody wasn't looking at me like that. That wasn't what that was. And so you just chalk it up as a coincidence and go about your day. And the whole time, that person might have been interested in you and was just too shy to approach you and was waiting for you to approach them. And that's also why it's like good to like not be afraid, or at least if you are afraid, don't let being afraid keep you from taking a chance and taking a risk in those types of situations. It's also a thing of whenever you're in the zone, say if there's something that you're really good at doing, and so you focus all of your attention on doing that thing, there's people that notice that about you, that you're really good at whatever you're doing, and that draws them in as well. And some people can find whatever it is that you're doing super attractive, and things that you are passionate about, where you're actually putting your full effort into it, those things are things that can also have someone admire you. And even if you feel like there's not something special about you, there is something special about you, and that thing is something that has people admiring you. And even, I'll give you an example. There's been times where I was just in my own world and focusing completely on myself and just doing something that I enjoyed, from like, even if it was like me taking a walk or something, or admiring plants. Like me admiring plants, I ended up noticing someone admiring me admiring the plants. And it's things that you don't even think of, where other people have an interest in, and it's like you can't go exactly by a playbook, like only people can find these sort of things admirable about people. And it's like every person is unique and has those other things that might attract another person. And it's just all about you coming to that understanding and not cutting yourself off or limiting yourself, thinking that just because you don't do a certain type of thing, or just because you don't have a certain type of interest, or just because you don't fit a certain category, that means that you will not be admirable, or you would not be a person that could have a secret admirer. It's a really fun thing to even think about, having a secret admirer. And just think about yourself, for example. How many times you have observed another person and you just really acknowledge what made that person special to you. It might have not made that person special to the other people around that individual, but to you there was something that you noticed that was so unique about that person that it attracted you towards that individual. And that was something that you were admiring about that person secretly. And it's like the fact that you are capable of noticing those special traits in another person. There are people out there that also have that same exact capability to recognize those special traits about you as well, and those things that make you special, and those things that they're drawn to. It's like the fact that you are capable of doing that should be an indication to you that someone else has the capability of doing that when looking at you as well. And if you find yourself to be maybe like an awkward person, you don't have that much practice with interacting with people, these sort of things can be hard to like pick up on, and that's okay, because everything's like a learning process, but you just take one step at a time. Another way to know that someone is secretly admiring you is when you decide to, when you talk, they actually retain what you're saying because they're genuinely listening in that moment. And that's a good indication that someone actually cares about what you're saying and cares about you as a person, and care about, like, when someone's listening to things you have to say, they care about you, you know? Whenever you talk, they listen. Another thing is, like, you also make that person feel heard as well, where that's a reciprocated type of interaction where they talk to you and you listen, and you make sure that they know that you're actually hearing what they have to say to you. And by doing that, you bring this energy towards them, and they just feel this light inside whenever you're around them. And that's because of the type of energy that you are giving off. Like, you being as special of a person that you are, they can feel that energy literally just being in your presence. But on top of that, them also having conversations with you, and that's why they're so drawn and captivated by what you have to say, which is why they listen. Whenever you're in your element and you are just connecting with the present moment, and you are allowing yourself to really focus on what you're doing, there are people who are observing you and watching you, and not like in a creepy way, like they're like stalking you or anything, but just admiring you as a person. Another reason why people admire you is because how you make them feel, and you make them feel good. Like, you supply this type of like high for them just from being around you and just from watching what you do. It's like that's another amazing thing about like human connection, is just our ability to recognize how special other people are. There's someone that's admiring you about your voice, the type of voice that you have, the way that you speak, your speech cadence. Someone admires that about you, you know? That's something that they find to be very attention grabbing. And It could also be maybe your physical appearance. There's somebody that's admiring you because of the way that you look, maybe your specific style, you know. Maybe you're a person that isn't afraid to just be yourself. You're a person that isn't afraid to be yourself, and that shows up in the way that you decide to present yourself, from your style, the way that you wear your hair, and the way that you speak. And that is something else that somebody admires about you and finds attractive. And then the fact that you are comfortable with being yourself, that's something that someone is admiring about you as well. Just like how you think somebody couldn't possibly admire you, if that's something that you're thinking, that individual that you have admired before in your life, they probably were also thinking the same exact thing, you know? Even though from your perspective it's like, oh, this person's confidence with the way that they accomplish certain things, like how they have this certain type of charisma about themselves, or they have this certain type of conviction about certain things, and you might admire that about them. They still might be thinking somewhere in their mind that there's no one admiring them, and there's someone that is admiring them, you know? And it's like the same thing, like how you might be thinking someone's not admiring you, there's someone admiring you, thinking like, oh my gosh, like I really enjoy whatever trait it is, you know? That's just a good thing to remember, that there are people that are admiring you just like how you admire people. There's a lot of things about people that other people find attractive and are drawn to outside of anything superficial, you know? Like, there's a lot of beautiful attributes about human people that are admirable outside of just someone being attractive, although that is something that people can admire about another person. Someone's physical appearance, again, like I said, maybe someone's aesthetics, but there's a lot of other things that also draw people to other people, and I find that to be something very beautiful and amazing, which is why I'm making this video, because there's people that believe that there's not something special about them, or that there's nothing about them that could possibly be admired by another person. And there's a lot of things that are admirable about you as a person that another person recognizes about you. And a lot of times people do it secretly for a lot of different reasons, you know, out of maybe them being shy and maybe not knowing how you might react to it, or maybe they don't have the courage yet or the confidence yet to speak up about those things to that person, and they are maybe a person that just hasn't developed those social skills yet to where they feel they can confidently say the things that they want to say to someone. But just know that there are people out there admiring you, and just like how you can admire something about someone, there's someone admiring you as well. And I just wanted to say that if anything I spoke about in this video you resonated with, consider liking, subscribing, and sharing so that this video can reach someone who may also need to hear this message. Bye.